What would be better, industry in cities or local industry in rural provinces? Let's find out. There has been a lot of discussion on the forum because there are theories that local industry building first up to level 3 would be better instead of building industry in your cities right off the bat. Both sides on the spectrum have been argued, a lot of math was done, a lot of graphics were shown. I'm like, what is all this fuss about, guys? Come on. Of course, industry in cities are better. Cities are double resource provinces, right? Let's find out if my premises is right or am I wrong. Let's zoom in into my core provinces. In Tripoli, if I build here an industry, it costs me $3,200, 600 steel, 1,200 oil, and 1,100 rare materials. It takes 8 hours to build, so let's build that. Then in Bani Walid, if I build industry over here, it costs me exactly the same as industry in the cities. Building cost is the same, so let's build it over here as well. As you might know, at 100% morale, your rural provinces, they produce $900, 1,500 food and 150 manpower, right? Your cities, as they are double resource provinces, they produce a heck more. $6,000, 600 manpower and 6,000 oil. I mean, that's 4 times more, right? One might think that it would be better to build industry here because there's a big return of investment, right? Heck, I don't know. Seems logical. Let's have an industry in cities increases resource production with 10%. Same counts for the money, 20 hit points. Local industry getting a resource increase with 35%. Also 35% more money. However, those provinces produce 4 times less. So my guess would be that both level 1 industries compared with each other, industry in cities should be more interesting, right? I guess we're gonna find out in 8 hours, right?
8 hours later.
Alright, construction of industry has been terminated. A local industry, so 35% increase results in a production of 2024, should be 2025. 35% of 1,500 is 2025. So resource production has increased with 525 resources a day. Let's see what happened in Tripoli. In Tripoli we have a 10% increase. I produce now 6,600 oil, so that's an increase of 600. So level 1 industry in cities produces 75 resources extra every 24 hours. Not a big difference. So now let's construct to level 2. Level 2 increases research production with 25% and costs $4,250, 1,200 steel, 1,600 oil, 1,450 rare materials. Building time 14 hours, so we're gonna construct this one. Build. Gonna do the same in Bani Walid. We're also gonna build this one. So again, it costs the same amount of resources. Building time is the same as industry in cities. Resource production will increase with 100%. 100%, that's a lot, right? That sounds interesting. Let's see what happens after construction. I'm gonna construct. There we go. Perfect.
The next morning.
Right, so my level 2 industry is built. I produce now 3,000 food, which is an increase of 1,500. Let's go to Tripoli. My production is now at 7,500. Also, that is an increase of 1,500. So the economical advancement, rural industry compared to industry in cities is the same. However, there's a non-neglectable advantage on the money side, as I produce now also $7,500 compared to rural that is only 1,800. The base production is 886. That's an increase of $914 compared to Tripoli is an increase of $1,500. So that's 586 more money that you produce in the cities compared to rural provinces. However, the resource production stays the same. So let's see now what happens if I upgrade my industry to level 3. I need steel the most, so let's focus on that. So it would cost me $5,650, 1,600 steel, 2,150 oil, 1,950 rare materials, and it takes 20 hours to construct, and it's gonna result in a 200% resource production. That's pretty interesting, right? 200%, man. Okay, let's build this. Now let's go to Benghazi. As you can see, the costs are exactly the same. Also, building time stays the same. And level 3 industry in cities increases resource production with 45%. So let's go.
The next day.
Alright, level 3 industry construction has been terminated. You can see that in Tripoli I now produce 8,700 resources. That is 2,700 more than the base level of 6,000. Same for the money. So at level 3 industry compared to the base level, you produce 2,700 more resources and 2,700 more money. Let's have a look now to our rural province. In Bani Walid with level 3 industry, we produce now 4,500 food compared to the base level of 1,500. That is 3,000, so that's 300 more resources compared to industry in cities. And compared to the base level of $900, we produce now 1,800 extra with a total of 2,700. So level 3 local industry generates 300 resources more during one in-game day. It's a small advantage, but nothing huge. However, in a city you produce $900 more. So in a first glance it seems to me that whether rural or industry in the cities, the difference is pretty much neglectable. I'm going to get deeper into the resource production difference between local and rural later on with the Excel sheet and graphics. For now, let's continue our construction spree because we have our industry over here that is now at a maximum level 3, 200% resource increase. However, we still have our industry in our cities that has not reached its full potential yet. And that is where I think is the big fail in the strategy of the players who prefer a local industry, because you get a slight advantage by building local industry, a very little advantage. However, it sets you back in your cities because you're not gonna have industry there yet, right? Level 1 industry needs 8 hours to construct, level 2 14 hours, so that's already 22 hours in total, and for level 3 you need 20 hours, so that's 42 hours that you would take longer to benefit from the maximum resource output of your maxed out industry in cities, which is 12,000, and 12,000 is a huge difference compared to 4,500. Anyways, we're gonna get into that later on. For now, I want to go to my industry because, well, I want to reach its full potential. With level 3 industry, we are only at 45% of its full potential. So with the next level of level 4, we're gonna have resource production of an additional 70%. However, the cost is expensive: $7,500, 2,150 steel, 2,850 oil, and 2,600 rare materials. So let's go!
The next day.
Alright, level 4 industry has been built. As you can see in Tripoli, I produce now 10,200 oil and $10,200. That is a lot, man. That is pretty interesting. That is 4,200 resources more than the base level, and my increase is almost the same as the total daily production of a rural province with level 3 industry. And it's not done. I can upgrade it even more. I can upgrade to level 5. It's very expensive: $10,000, 2,850 steel, 3,800 oil, 3,450 rare materials, and it takes 1 day and 8 hours. But it's gonna give me a resource production and money production increase of 100%. So let's get this thing building, man.
32 hours later.
Now that we have collected all the data, we can put it in an Excel sheet. I haven't made it. I have to thank Mystic1618 for making this. He did a terrific job in both making the Excel sheet but also the graphics. So thanks a lot for that, and thanks a lot for letting me use it. So we have got on the left column, we have got the level of the industry from level 1 to level 5. Then you have all the resources listed, money, metal, oil, and rare materials. And in column F, we have the building time. And then in column G, we have the resource cost, which is metal, oil, and rare materials. For some reasons, he hasn't counted the money in his calculations, which is a bit of a pity, as we have seen that notably industry in cities produce more money, but unfortunately the graphics are not gonna take this into consideration. And weirdly enough, the total resource cost is always the same as the amount of money that it takes to build. I had never paid attention to this, man. Anyhow, so you've got a total resource cost, and then you've got the city marginal benefit, which is the benefit gained from one extra level. So he's not taking into account the base level, only what profit you get per level. That gives you the column of the total benefit in the city, where you accumulate the resources gained by your industry. Then you have the local marginal benefit and local total of benefit, which has then been calculated between the costs and the resources that you produce, which gives you a ratio between 5.56 and 3.8. So then let's have a look at the graphics. To give you some background information, each level of industry has been started immediately after the previous one has finished. For instance, using the queue. So we're going to use the premises that you have the resources to immediately upgrade the industry to the next level. The graphic also only considers the resources gained from the industry, for example, ignoring the base of 1,500 local production and 6,000 urban production. So the following graphs show how many resources the industry has produced by a given hour, and 3 strategies have been tested. The first is upgrading a single local industry to level 3 and then do nothing. The second strategy is upgrading a single city industry to level 5, then do nothing. And the third strategy is upgrading both local and city industries to level 3 and then do nothing. In the graphic you can easily see that there are bumps at the 8, 20-second, 40-second and 68 hours. These represent the costs of a new level of industry that is starting construction. So level 1 is started at 0 hour. Local industry lags the bumps at 42 and 68 hours, since there is no level 4 or level 5 local industry. The graphics, they depict 2 different time scales: 250 hours, which is approximately 10.4 days, and 1,000 hours, which is 41.7 days. Industrialization started in the first 10 days will likely reach the 250 hour mark during a game, especially on larger maps, and so it is more relevant compared to the 1,000 hour graph, as a lot of games end before day 41. On the 250 hour graph, also the strategy of maximally upgrading everything has been tested. This is obviously the best strategy with a 1,000 hour game, but it does involve a larger short-term investment. If we look in detail now to the graphic of 250 hours, we can see that perhaps unsurprisingly, maximally upgrading everything, which is the green line, is the best strategy. However, this strategy only breaks even after 160 hours. For comparison, skipping the last 2 industry levels, which is the yellow curve, breaks even after only 130 hours, which is approximately 5.4 days. And the green only pulls ahead on yellow after 200 hours. This is relevant as these graphics only consider 1 industry and 1 local industry. But in a real game, you of course want to upgrade all of your industries, but you won't have the resources to do so. Anyhow, the lower investment of the yellow or even the blue strategy may actually help to build other industries elsewhere. Building only local industry, which is the blue curve, does not give a substantial advantage over yellow, in that they both break even at 130 hours, while yellow produces many more resources in the long run. Yeah, well, that's no surprise to me, you know. I knew that only building local industry and ignoring cities until your local industry is maxed out was not a good strategy. However, the blue strategy has the lowest cost, only reaching 12.7k resources at its lowest point, compared to yellow at minus 24.6k resources and green at 31.6k at its lowest point. This saves as much as 12k resources for developing an army or investing industries elsewhere. Which is also interesting is that getting a city industry to level 3 accounts for less than the half of the cost to get it to level 5. It is 13.1k resources for level 3 versus 30.8k resources for level 5. This is why getting level 3 local industry and city industry at level 3 is the better strategy than developing your level 5 industries and cities first. The cost is similar, but the maximum reduction is reached at a much earlier stage, since local industry is built at the same time with city industry. The red curve does have a higher max production, but a break-even point between the two strategies occurs only at 600 hours, which is a lot. And so it is surprising because I always tell players, develop your cities first, and I knew that a strategy of local industry wasn't that of a smart move, but I find it interesting to learn that it's actually the most interesting to build level 3 industry simultaneously both in your cities and your rural provinces. So I hope that you have liked this video and that you have learned something. Again, thank you to Mystic1618 for the information that you have forwarded to me. It is much appreciated. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and hit that bell button for notifications. And I want to say a warm thank you to my members and elite members for supporting this channel.